Hello, whole food, plant-based weight loss community. My name is Lacey Cattell, and I am your board certified holistic health practitioner. Today, I want to talk with all of you about portion control. This is often a question I receive in regards to how much do I eat? How much can I eat of the grains? How much can I eat of the beans and the legumes? And I never have a specific answer. And this is the reason why. I can tell you that you should be shooting for 2 to 4 servings of starchy vegetables each day. I can tell you that you should have 2 to 5 servings of beans each day and 5 servings of grains, whole grains. But what does that amount to? So typically about a half cup of cooked beans, excuse me, half cup of cooked whole grains, that's going to be a serving. But how do we incorporate all of this into our busy schedules and at every meal? It just seems like a lot. And this is where I want to talk about portion controls and what factors come into play because we have busy schedules. We are working, we are homeschooling, we are running from errand to errand, we are doing all of the things. So we don't always have time to sit down and have 3 meals and 3 snacks. And some of us intermittent fast. So, how do we fit all of this nutritious food into our lifestyle? So I know it can be kind of confusing, and I want you guys to aim to incorporate, of course, all of these nutritious foods and ingredients because you are obtaining vitamins, minerals, the phytonutrients, the fiber, all of the things that your body needs to produce these antioxidants, to combat oxidative stress, i.e., inflammation. So definitely work to incorporate all of these fruits and vegetables and beans and legumes and whole grains and uh, plant foods. But when you're trying to figure out portion control, especially if you're on a weight loss journey or weight maintenance, then there are some factors to take into consideration. The first is going to be your activity levels. So, our activity levels impact our food portions on days where you're more active. You're going to likely notice that you're needing more food. You probably need more carbohydrates, some healthy fats, just foods to sustain your energy levels, along with some plant proteins. We want to get a well-rounded, balanced meals and snacks incorporated into our day. These are going to help you with your energy, rebuild muscle. And then, if you're not so active, then you need to adjust your portions to meet your needs. So, if you're normally active or you're taking a rest day, your body's not going to need as much nourishment. You may not find yourself as ravenous as if you were doing some strength training or some cardio. So that's why I say there are factors to take into consideration that are going to determine your hunger levels and your body's nourishment needs. In addition to your activity levels, I also want you to take into consideration what you've already eaten or not eaten. So, if you've undereaten throughout the day, then this can cause your body to feel this extreme hunger and also lead to overeating. So if we undereat for a certain period of time, then it may lead you to want to consume huge portions, which then leads to overeating. So it's finding this balance. That's why if any of you have reached out to me, then you know the first thing I request is a food journal. 7 to 10 days at least, because this gives me a good idea of what you're currently eating, some of your nutrition habits, what you're consuming. But then I also ask you, okay, what are your activity levels like? Are you a work at home parent? Are you going to a job every day? Are you an athlete? Are you training for a marathon? All of these come into play. And I want you to take that into consideration when you are trying to figure out what portions to eat because I don't want you to undereat when you're extremely active, and I don't want you to overeat when you're having, an off week and you need to take some time to recover and rest because all of our bodies need rest as well. Another consideration to pay attention to is your environmental triggers. So, when your environmental triggers are going to be some common factors that influence what you're eating and the amount. So, what's an example? Okay, what you have in your pantry. So, are you surrounding yourself with store-bought, packaged, easy, convenient foods, or are you checking out your fridge for the colorful and bright fruits and vegetables that your body is really needing and wanting? So, it's something to take into consideration in terms of your environment, but also okay, let's consider our family. I know a lot of you have posted in the chat or the community that you're eating a certain way, but you also live with family members who aren't following this lifestyle. So how can we find that support and that balance for everyone in the family to feel satisfied? So you also want to, with environmental triggers, to take into consideration your stress levels. So when is it that you find yourself snacking? Again, let's go back to, did you overeat or undereat? And is that leading you to want a snack earlier or between meals when typically you wouldn't reach for a snack? Or are you in between meals and you're not actually hungry, you're just stressed and you're wanting to go to the pantry or the refrigerator to find a goodie, something savory or something sweet. So again, those stress levels are going to come into consideration because when we are stressed, our bodies go into a fight or flight mode to respond to that stressful situation. And when this happens, your nervous system can react differently. Again, the fight or flight mode. So you may not even be aware that your hunger is either suppressed um, or overcompensated, and you're again that finding that ravenous feeling. So it's something to be aware of because stress does affect all of us differently. Stress can suppress our appetite, and it's something that we need to also take into consideration when we have undereaten as well, because then you may find your blood sugar spike when you do have that meal, and then you could find yourself overeating or undereating again. So all of these are factors to take into consideration when you're trying to strive to find that perfect balance of portions. Excuse me, there's a fruit fly flying around my head. Another factor to take into consideration is your lack of sleep, which there are even studies out there that say that when you have a lack of sleep, you tend to overeat. So it's something to be aware of as well when you're trying to find that balance in portions and how much to eat. So these are just a couple or a few, more than a couple, um, factors to consider when finding the right portions. And it does take patience and practice. So sometimes you may just need to reach for that glass of water because there are times when we're feeling hungry and we're actually needing some hydration. So I always suggest reaching for a glass of water first. And then if you do find yourself in a situation where there's environmental triggers or stress levels seem to be at a peak, then I also recommend going for an emotional lap. It's something that I've learned about in actually my fitness routine is sometimes we just need an emotional lap to help us just kind of reconnect and rejuvenate ourselves. And it gives us time to reflect on the situation at hand. So if you do find yourself trying to figure out if you're feeling hunger, if you've undereaten, overeaten, then I definitely suggest these two tips to help with your portion control. Now, aside from some habits for finding your portion control, I do want to touch on something that I recently posted in the group. It's the Fall into Wellness program. It was just released. So if you haven't had a chance to click on it, I recommend that you do. It's a great program that's going to be 30 days and it starts on Tuesday, September 27th. And what is going to happen is we're going to go through this 4 week program. These 4 modules each week are going to introduce you to a task to help you transition into the autumn season and just rejuvenate, um, rebalance, and find structure in your foundation for your wellness journey. So I recommend all of you participate in that. There will be a bonus at the end because the program itself isn't centered around nutrition, but the bonus will have some nutrition tied into it. So I'll give more details out, but there's your hint. So if you haven't seen the post, you can search in the group Fall into Wellness, and that will take you to the link so that you can find out more about the details. And I would love for all of you to register. Space is limited, so I recommend you do it sooner than later because we only have um, just over a week to register. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. And you can also reach out to me via personal message or email address at info@reimaginenutrition.com. Again, my name is Lacey Cattell. I am your board certified holistic health practitioner. I specialize in whole food plant-based nutrition as well as longevity wellness. I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you register for the Fall into Wellness program. Take care.